When you got a hot plant, you got to talk about it. I got this Monstera Albo, which I was scared to get. I really liked the way it looked. I was listening to other YouTubers talk about it. Took me a while to make a decision if I wanted to buy and spend the bread that this was commanding, like $200 for cuttings of a plant that's not even rooted, and you gotta take some time for it to get to this point and to this point. So I sliced it up because I know what was going to happen. I made some pretty tough, I would say, educated decisions about the plant because I know that it has a tendency to revert back to this green state and not this white state. So you could lose all that white and get all this and be all upset. You know, that's a possibility. So that's the thing that scared or just didn't really make it appetizing for me to buy an expensive plant. I definitely spent money on the Thai constellation because that doesn't revert and it's going to maintain that variegation throughout its whole life and I ain't got to worry about anything. I think you would agree with me if you would say you don't want to worry about stuff if you really had the choice. That was my first buy, the Thai constellation. But everybody was talking about it. It just kept popping up, and I said, you know what? If it reverts back, why would you even want it? And it doesn't make sense. And you could lose variegation, and but and also like everybody's selling these joints. Like everybody is selling these. Well, not everybody. It's a good. They're out there. They're available. There's no shortage of them. So that's another thing that makes me realize that the demand and the supply, because there's always one out there, that the supply, the demand, the price is probably going to drop. So we'll see what happens. That's a whole lot of talk with the plant community with these high priced plants. And this is the Monstera Albo. I forgot to tell you what it is. If you don't know what it is, it has nice white leaves. It will fenestrate and look like serrated like that big boy back there. That's the Monstera deliciosa. That's a different variety of this plant. This is the juvenile form. I bought it as a juvenile. I bought that as a juvenile, and I have raised it up. I brought it, I've molded it to where I wanted it to, and it worked with me. It was we saw eye to eye, and this is my biggest indoor plant that I have, but this is more expensive than that plant, but not probably at its state because it's so big. But anyway, let's not talk about price anymore because price makes people irritated. I totally get it. Um, Let me tell you what I got it in. I have it in spag peat moss. That, this stuff right here, this stuff right here, and then the setup. I'm no longer doing this. I'm not doing the Martha Stewart no more. I'm not doing that. We're getting clarity. We want clarity now and air abundance. So I was actually looking at hydroponics, but I won't talk about that at this point. But look at the roots all in there. This thing is popping and exploding with growth. My node spacings are pretty tight. It's not stretching for light. I give it 240 foot candles of light, 12 hours a day. Artificial light. What else can I throw at you? What I do? I have one in dirt. I have one in spag peat moss. So they grow in both mediums. You could try both. If you want to do soil, Definitely do a light, airy mix where air can penetrate and get through the roots because the roots need air. And what else? What else can I say? Talked about lighting. Oh, humidity. They are general. I usually keep my house 50% humidity, and it changes. It fluctuates. I have a fish tank. I have a 98-gallon fish tank. You might not have a 98-gallon fish tank in your house that is also creating. Well, it's evaporating water because it drops down. That's when I was a kid, and I always had a fish tank when I was like 10 years old. I was like, why does the water keep dropping down? Like, where's it going? Are the fish drinking the water? Because if they're drinking it, wouldn't they just pee it back out? But I noticed at an early age, I learned about evaporation because I had a question about it. So, yeah, that's putting water mist in my house. And I also use a humidifier to bump up the humidity because I have a lot of other plants that require higher humidity, jungle humidity. So if I was to tell you to do it, make sure I wouldn't tell you anything. I always tell you to get a moisture meter or humidity meter, and then make sure your area, your temperature, like your humidity is above 50%, 50 to 60%. That'll be a good range. Pests, I have not seen any pest on this plant, so I can't tell you what it would get. It's just been like a really tough, like it's a super tough plant, and I think once it gets even bigger and you get those all white leaves, that's when I want to have one. I want to keep one and get it big like that, so I'll keep you posted. I want to make a few cuts of it myself and put it out on this market. I already got like a couple cuttings on eBay because I'm trying to make my money back, assets over liabilities, and that's pretty much it, guys. I think I hit everything that I was doing with it. Like I said, I'm using an artificial light. The more light you give a plant with a light meter. Use a light meter so you can see where you're at. If you're questioning what's going on with your plant, use a light meter. See how much light you're going to give your plant. But enough about that. The Monstera Albo is like one of those dope plants that you gotta get. I had to get it in my collection, even though it has like strong negativity or downsides, is that it reverts back to total green, and I actually have that. But maybe it might come back. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I do have some cuttings that are growing, that are flourishing, that I will definitely see white patterns going on. So I'll keep you posted on that. That's the trash truck if you heard that. But yeah. If you don't want to get it, don't. I'm not hyping you or enticing you to get it. I don't really. I mean, it teaches on. I'm not judging you. You could do whatever you want to do. But everybody's talking about the prices are going down. So if you just want to wait and see what happens, or you can just jump in. It's just like everything else in the capitalist society. Things fall, prices go back up, things happen all the time. But that's all I want to say about the Monstera Albo. It's a sweet plant. It's a very easy plant to take care of, as long as you have and understand what it needs. And then when it gets bigger, it just changes its form. So it's like you get a whole nother plant, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and fills up your space. And then you wind up having a fight with your fiance talking about where you want to put it at. And I was like, you know what? It's a big thing. But thanks for watching. And if you like what you saw, please hit that like and subscribe button. And my name is Gerard. I'm an exotic plant collector, and keep growing.